Hey everybody, it's Brock and we got a brand new episode of All About. Happy Friday to everybody. Thanks for coming out today. Hope y'all had a really good week this week. Today we got a fish that isn't really seen that often, so I want to bring something new to the table. Today we are learning all about the striped squirrelfish or the striped soldierfish. Now this video is really good for other squirrelfish out there. They're all very similar in each other, like the big eye black bar soldierfish, or there's a Samara squirrelfish. There's a lot of different types out there, but this video will give you a good all around on how to take care of a squirrelfish. Prices on them, for an adult you'll probably spend about $60 to get one, and for the juveniles they normally run about $30. Tank size, you'll need about a 75 gallon. They do get pretty large. Care level, I would say moderate. The main thing that people have trouble with is getting them to eat. They can be very shy when first introduced into the tank, so getting them to eat is really important. Temper, they are very peaceful. They are a great fish to have in the tank. They have almost like a fox face personality at times where they're a little shy, but once they get used to the tank, they start to come out a lot more often. Reef compatibility, so it is with caution. Now the squirrelfish is not going to mess with any of your corals. They do not have any interest at picking at the corals. What they do have an interest in though is your inverts. So if you got any kind of cleaner shrimp or any kind of snails, even starfish, they will see those as snacks and they will chase after them. So make sure you don't have any of those in your tank if you are wanting to get one of these. Temperature, you want to keep it 72 to 78. You know I like to keep mine right on 78. DKH 8 to 12. pH 8.1 to 8.4. And your salinity 1.020 to 1.025. Max size, they can get about 6 to 8 inches, so they can get pretty large by the end of it. Colors on them, they're very bright red with the white stripes running down their body. It's a really pretty fish to have in the tank, especially because red can be a really hard color on a fish to find. Diet, so they are carnivore. This is the most important thing about the fish, is trying to get them to eat. They almost eat like a lionfish. So a lot of times you have to really tease them with food for them to go after it. So at the beginning, whenever you have this fish, sometimes you need to go get some of those live feeder shrimp to drop in that tank. That way they're jumping around all crazy and it really entices them to chase after and eat them. And then you can slowly start to try to get them to eat like little pieces of shrimp from the grocery store. You can buy a pack of frozen of them. You can try to feed them those, and also like mysis and brine shrimp, a good amount of that. He'll start eating those as well. But the main thing is just making sure he has some really good meaty food in his diet. That'll keep his colors really good, and it'll just keep him overall very healthy. Clams on a half shell are another thing you could try. Thaw them out and put those in there, wiggle it around in front of him, try to entice them to get them to chase after it. Also, squid's another big one for him. Just anything that has a good amount of meat on it, he'll definitely like that. Origin, so most of them do come from Hawaii, and they've also been spotted around Fiji too. Compatibility, just ask. So you can have more than one of these in a tank. If your tank is big enough, you'll definitely want a larger tank if you're keeping multiples in the tank, as they do get about 6 to 8 inches. So that's a pretty large fish if you have a group of them. In the wild, they are a schooling fish. So most of the time you see 20 of them in a group swimming right beside each other, swimming along the reef. So they are used to being in larger groups, so you definitely won't have a problem mixing them with each other. They can be in a variety of tank settings, so whether it's reefs or fish-only tanks, even predator tanks. Most of your really aggressive fish stay away from them anyways, because a squirrelfish has a really sharp top fins that run along their back. It basically tells them, I ain't going after that fish. So they do really good in all kinds of tank settings. The only thing I would ever worry about is if one started to get a little aggressive once they got into their adult size. You know, small fish like little chromies, I could see him chasing those down because he was thinking those are food. So that would be the only chance I would actually worry about. But other than that, you know, with tangs, with angelfish, with your wrasse, I wouldn't have a problem. I've never seen a problem with keeping them together. Now, squirrelfish are actually a nocturnal fish, but they will adjust to the tank setting and in your feeding schedule as well. So eventually they will get used to coming out more often during the day. But it's best to have lots of live rock in your tank. This is going to give him a much better environment to swim in. Have a lot of live rock in there, some really nice caves for him to swim in and hide and hang out. That way he just looks a lot happier in the tank. Keep a lot of good dark spots for him to go in and hang out, and then come out into the open, eat some food, swim around, check everything out, and then he has that spot to go back to. It also is a very hardy fish. They do well in the tank setting. Just really getting them to eat first is probably your main thing to watch out for. And if you're getting one from your LFS, definitely ask them what they're feeding them. That way, once you bring them on into your tank, you can do the same thing as well, and it'll really help him get comfortable quicker. Other than that, that pretty much hits on everything you need to know to take care of this squirrel fish. They are pretty easy fish to take care of. Just the main thing is make sure you get them to eat. Feed them very meaty foods like your shrimp or your clams or mysis, brine shrimp, anything like that. He'll really love them. It'll keep them very healthy and keep his colors up big time. Remember, he can be with other fish of his kind, so you can mix the squirrel fish together. You can have multiples of them. That way they're swimming around in a group just like they are in the wild. It's really pretty to watch. I hope you all enjoyed this video today. If you're curious if this fish would be good in your tank, please leave some comments down below. I'd love to help you out. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see y'all later.